Good morning. This is September 25th, Monday 2023, and we are in BBA first semester, section B English class. And yesterday we just started the essay, Where Do We Stand, I guess. We could not take the whole class because you went for the program. And before the class ended, we were talking about something. So can someone remind me what things we were talking about in yesterday's class? Can you tell what we were talking about in this class?
How to read the given text.
How to read the given text. Yes, Rupani, what we were talking about?
So we were talking about the different steps like remembering what we read, understanding, interpreting.
Okay, the objectives of learning. What exactly we were talking about when the class ended?
What you can apply that
Apply those ideas in a text. Can you tell what exactly we were talking about in the class? Specifically? Old knowledge or given knowledge. Did we start summarizing? Did we start summarizing? Can I see someone's note copy? Yesterday's note copy? This is a class note copy? Not one. Where is yesterday's note? Okay. Okay. So, we were talking about what we might do as we read something, a text. And we said the first thing is we need to remember what we read. We need to remember what we read. Then we said we need to understand what we read. Then we said one way to confirm that we actually understand what we are reading is trying to write a summary of what we read. Then we said after summarizing a text, we can attempt to interpret the text. Then we said after interpreting the text, we can move further and try to analyze different parts of the text. Then we said as we analyze different parts of the text, we can see the interrelationship among the various parts, and then by observing the connections among the various parts of a text or relations among the various ideas in a text, we can draw a conclusion on the topic, and we can also form our view on the topic. And we called that view which we develop by listening to other people, that view might be called as synthesizing. That activity might be called as synthesizing. So analysis is separating. Analysis is separating. Synthesis is bringing together. In analysis, you separate parts to see each part separately. In synthesis, you see the interconnection and you draw a conclusion, you make an idea about what it might mean. Synthesis is forming your opinion by using other people's opinion. I repeat, synthesis is coming up with your idea by using other people's idea. Then we said, as you analyze and as you come up with your idea, you also start judging what you are reading. How appropriate is what the author says, how true it is what the author says, how relevant the information is. Lisa Davis wrote this essay in 1990, 33 years before. If I go to America these days, do I think Americans still believe the same way? Does the world not change in 3 decades? So I feel like what Lisa Davis says needs a critical review and revision, because probably today Americans have different idea about how to use space. Do Arabians still have the same opinion about privacy? I'm judging, I'm evaluating, I'm asking how useful the ideas are. I'm asking how relevant the ideas are. I'm asking how valuable the ideas are. I'm asking how appropriate the ideas are. I'm asking, is this author saying something wrong somewhere in the paragraph? I'm asking, are the data correct or incorrect? I'm asking, is there any loophole in the argument? I'm asking, does this author anticipate my disagreements and respond to my objections? Does this author respond to counter arguments? Does this writer make sweeping remark without caring? The speaker yesterday made a lot of sweeping remarks, and I was watching carefully. Oh God, how he is making statements, generalizing. So is this writer making sweeping remarks which can be proven to be false? You go like this, you evaluate. Once you evaluate, then by the time you come to the stage of evaluation, you have understood something because you read the text. You have got a new perspective of the world because you read the text. You have learned something about the world because you read the text. And now what do you want to do? You want to take that learning from the lesson and use that lesson, use that learning, use that idea, use that knowledge in your life. And you want to apply that knowledge to understand the world better. You want to apply that knowledge to solve a problem you have. You want to apply that knowledge to look at the world in a new way. So you apply the knowledge. Then when you apply the knowledge and solve a new problem, when you apply the knowledge and you understand the world in a new way, when you apply the knowledge and you have a fresh perspective about the world, you create new knowledge on the topic. For example, you are reading Lisa Davis' essay where Lisa Davis is telling the American people, hey guys and girls, if you go to Arab, behave like this. If you go to Japan, behave like this. If you go to Russia, behave like this. If you go to Scandinavian countries, behave like this. If you go to North America, behave like this. You're reading this thing. Now, you can end up doing a research on how do Nepalese consumers and businessmen interact non-verbally in public conversation. You might pick up your camera, mobile phone, form a team, and go to a supermarket with a note copy, stand in the corner, and just watch how close people come in Nepal when they're in the marketplace. How do they talk? What body language they use, what gestures, postures they make, how much eye contact Nepalese have, how much do Nepalese smile when they deal with the shopkeeper. Then you come to a local kirana shop at the corner, and there also you watch, and you compare. Oh, Nepalese at supermarket use body language in space this way. But the same Nepalese, when they come to local shop, they use body language this way. Nepalese use body language this way at a gold shop. And you come up with a new idea how Nepali people use space in public conversation. You started by reading how Americans use space. And you write an essay on how Nepalese use space. So that is the assignment for you. That is the assignment for you that you will produce when we finish the essay. You are going to write a small 5 to 7 page double space research where you will study how Nepali consumers, consumers, buyers, and how Nepali businessmen, buyers and sellers, you are going to do a research on how Nepali shopkeepers and Nepali customers use non-verbal communication like eye contact, touching, smiling, posture, gesture, hand movement, dress, and public space in business dealing. And you will try to understand how this might affect business transactions and what you should understand to do business successfully in Madhes. What you should understand to do business successfully among Sherpas. What you should understand to do business successfully among Limbus. Because maybe these ethnic communities might be using space differently. Who knows? Things will come when you do a research. And this may give you a very good idea to write a research paper in 7th semester. 7th semester. Something new. Okay, let me start the class now. So, what we'll do now, we will read paragraph wise, and then we will try to summarize what we read. As we start summarizing, suppose this is a piece of writing, a paragraph. You read a paragraph. How do you summarize? Every piece of writing or almost every paragraph has two components. A paragraph consists of two components.
Central idea and supporting details.
Yeah. Let's not call it central idea right now. Let's call it main idea. I will not use the word central idea. I'll explain that. You are right, but not right now. Okay. So in a paragraph, let's write a paragraph. A paragraph begins with a main idea. For example, the previous sentence is the topic sentence of this terrible handwriting. This is how you write. This paragraph, that topic sentence has a topic. The topic of that sentence is paragraph. It also has a controlling idea. The controlling idea of this paragraph is that a paragraph begins with a main idea. Look what I did. I quickly composed a paragraph to show you that a paragraph has a main idea. So the main idea of this paragraph is, a paragraph begins with the main idea. This is the main idea. Rest is detail. And details may start with a phrase like, for example, or for instance, right? Now, when you summarize, leave the details and pick up the main idea. A summary never bothers about detail. If there is an example, ignore. If there is a reason, ignore. If there is a data, number, ignore. If there is a fact, obvious truth, ignore. If there is a story, ignore. Pick up the main idea of the paragraph. What is the main idea? The idea which the paragraph discusses. The idea which the paragraph explains. That is the main idea. And as you go on reading in your life, you will gradually acquire the ability to scan the main idea from the details. If you are not able to scan the main idea from details, that means you don't have good reading skills. Now let's apply this to the first paragraph of our essay. Has anyone left a pen here or not? Okay, I hope you have the book and you can follow me. I'm reading the first paragraph of the essay to explain you how to summarize. Call it the dance of the jet set. This sentence begins with a verb. The sentence begins with a verb. And when a sentence begins with a verb, we call this an imperative sentence. What do we call it? Call it the dance of the jet set, the diplomat's tango, then there is a colon. A man from the Middle East, say, falls into conversation with an American, becomes animated, takes a step forward, the American makes a slight postural adjustment, shifts his feet, edges backward, a little more talk, and the Arab advances, a little more talk, and the American retreats. By the end of the cocktail party, says Middle East expert Peter Bechtold of the State Department's Foreign Service Institute, you have an American in each corner of the room because that is as far as they can back up. With that, now ask a question. What might be the idea this sentence conveying? Yes?
Two people coming from two different cultures may have misunderstanding as they interact in a space.
Okay. If two people coming from two different cultures are interacting in a public space and having conversation, their different assumptions about each other's use of space might result into a misunderstanding. Let's write that as briefly as possible. If two people belong to two different cultures and happen to interact in a public space while having a conversation, they might have some misunderstanding due to different beliefs about how each other uses public space. Though it's a longer sentence, but do you agree that this is the idea which this opening paragraph is trying to convey? Do you agree? So the challenge of summarizing is that you need to read, you need to understand what you read properly, then you need to retell it in your own words and your own style. Writing a summary can be quite challenging because before you summarize, you must be able to understand what you are reading. And understanding what we read means being able to say the same thing without using same word. And this is exactly what IELTS reading test does. The trick in IELTS reading test is the questions given, they bring the information from the paragraph, but they use different words. And if you don't have a good vocabulary, if you don't know the synonyms and antonyms and meanings of the words in the paragraph, you fail to understand the question. So summarizing means understanding what you read, then retelling that idea in your own words. Look what I did. Divakar sir retold the idea in paragraph, but I am not using exact words from the given paragraph. So this is what Lisa Davis says. Now second question asked is, how does she say it? And the answer is, she portrays a dramatic scene. She portrays a dramatic scene. And in her dramatic scene, she brings two characters. She brings two characters. One Arab and the other Americans. These two characters perform some action. They perform some action. The Arab steps forward. The American backs up. Opposite action. Now this kind of behavior results in a conflicting situation. It results in a conflicting situation. And this conflicting situation becomes complicated, leading to a crisis. What is that crisis? By the end of the party, there is an American in each corner of the room. The opening remark of chapter 1, intercultural communication, says that there are cultural differences. Page 1. Then it says that these cultural differences result in problems. And here is an example. There are cultural differences in the way Arabs use space and in the way Americans use space. Arabs like coming very close when they interact. Americans like maintaining distance when they interact. Difference. The problem that results is that the Arab approaches closer and closer and closer. The American steps back and back and back. Second paragraph says that the American feels being bullied. The American feels that he is being bullied. And the American feels chilled. No responsibility what he has done. He never realizes how innocent he has bullied the American. And this may break your business contract. Because in business, you first develop a cordial relation. You are a customer, you come to my shop, and my behavior makes you angry. Will you buy from my shop? No. You will move away. You are business students, and do you see the very opening essay tells a lot about business, how to do business. In business, non-verbal communication is very important. Where you stand, how you speak, how you look at people, how much you smile, how much touching you do, how much eye contact you do, body, posture, gesture, all these things matter when two people, a customer and a businessman, are having a business deal. Okay. So we summarize, right? Ignore this how in summary and note down this what. Now let's move to second paragraph and do the same thing. This time I might invite one of you here on the whiteboard and I might ask you to summarize the second paragraph. Be careful and be ready. Okay, let's see second paragraph. What do you do when an amiable chat leaves one person feeling vaguely bullied, the other unaccountably chilled? Things would be simpler if these jet setters were speaking different languages. They would just get themselves a translator. But the problem is a little tougher because they are using different languages of space. When you start summarizing, sometimes there can be a sentence in the paragraph that clearly presents main idea, and you just pick up the sentence, done. That's easy. This main idea sometimes can come in the beginning, sometimes it can come in the middle, sometimes it can come at the end with the words like therefore. But sometimes no single sentence clearly expresses main idea. Then what you need to do? You need to extract the gist of the whole paragraph. Such a situation is a difficult situation, and summarizing in such situation becomes quite challenging. I said sometimes the first sentence is main idea. Okay, copy and forget, done. Sometimes the last sentence has main idea. Copy, done, easy. Sometimes a sentence in the middle has a main idea. Pick up, done. But rarely, sometimes, no sentence clearly expresses a main idea. In that case, you have to understand each sentence and you have to just extract the gist. This is a challenging situation. So let me invite someone who would like to summarize the second paragraph. Anybody can come? Okay, come. I will not be filming unless you give consent, so I will turn the focus elsewhere, okay? Okay, go on. Go on. Okay. Okay, you are not in the focus. Could you kindly take this clip so that we have your sound clearly, right? Because we need what you said.
So I just need to summarize the whole paragraph, or I have to read it?
Summarize the paragraph in a sentence. Just write the sentence. Just write the sentence.
Okay. So,
Just write the sentence.
so the paragraph can be summarized into 2 sentences because it's according to what you taught in the video, that what and how.
Okay.
So we need to focus on the what. We need to focus
Ignore
on
the how and write the what.
misunderstandings.
Ignore the how and write the what.
Misunderstandings. Different cultures in this space are difficult to identify.
Okay, let's read. Misunderstanding arising out of how two people from two different cultures use space are difficult to identify. Okay, fine. You can accept. That's the idea. It is difficult to understand the language of space. Why? Because when you have verbal language, you can hire a translator. You don't know English? Hire someone who knows English as well as Nepali, and they will translate for you. But you don't easily get people who can translate body language, because not everyone has good study on body language in different cultures. As a result, understanding body language becomes quite challenging. Okay, you did well. Let's move ahead and read the next paragraph, the third paragraph. I'll invite a girl this time to summarize. Everyone who has ever felt cramped in a crowd knows that the skin is not the body's only boundary. You don't allow people to come closer to skin. We each wear a zone of privacy like a hoop skirt. We have a simile here. Inviting others in or keeping them out with body language. When you are dancing in a group, for example, nightclub or any gathering, your eyes, smiling gesture gives a signal to your boyfriend whether he should come or not, or girlfriend whether he should come or not. Right? We speak without words. We speak more without words than with words. Sometimes we say more things without saying anything, right? Through the body language. Read ahead. By how closely we approach, how do you say, what is space, language space? How closely you approach says a lot. How closely you approach says a lot. Second, at what angle do you approach? Do you approach face to face? Do you approach sideways? Do you approach from behind? Do you approach from front? At what angle you come closer? That says a lot. And then you can do a beautiful analysis of some romantic scenes from Hollywood movies. How space is used, how the actor and actresses approach each other. Leave that. I'm just not so too serious for you. Okay. Sorry for this irrelevant example. How closely we approach, the angle at which we face them, the speed with which we break gaze. If I continuously linger my gaze, she might feel offended. She might feel uncomfortable. In Nepali culture, in American culture, you gaze. Japanese culture, you never gaze. Here in Nepal, Young people like you have fight in the street. Why? Because he was gauging me. Right? Okay. It's a subtle code. So how we use space is a subtle language, difficult to understand. But one we use and interpret easily. Though space use is or is body language difficult, but as we grow as a child, we unconsciously learn. When you are in a public bus and when a passenger misuses space, then you become alert. You clearly understand the intentions. You become alert, right? You scold them. Okay. Used and easily, indeed, automatically, having observed the vocabulary from infancy. There is vocabulary of body language. There is vocabulary of space use. That does not use words. What is this vocabulary? How closely we approach someone? What is vocabulary? At what angle we approach someone? What is vocabulary? How longer gaze we have? What is vocabulary? Do we smile as we speak? Has mat pagli pyar ho jayega, it says. What is this vocabulary? How much eye contact we have? What is vocabulary? How much we do touch? What is vocabulary? What dress we wear? What is vocabulary? How we dress ourselves? Non-verbal. Now let me invite someone. I'll invite a girl. You can come on a choice. Okay. Who is willing to come and summarize? Raise your hand. Hello. Rather than me choosing and forcing you, come. So I invite, is roll number 7 a girl? Okay. Anybody can come on your own. Come and summarize this paragraph 3. Okay. So wherever I stop, the girl by my side, where I stand, will come to summarize the essay. So here I stand. Oh, you are there. Miss Regmi. So Miss Regmi will summarize the essay for us. Take the pen. Summarize paragraph 3 in a single sentence. Okay. Let's read what you have written. We either invite others in or keep them out of our zone of privacy with our body language. Class, how good is that summary? Your opinion. You judge her now. Okay, let's read. Everyone who has ever felt cramped in a crowd knows that the skin is not the body's only boundary. We each wear a zone of privacy like hoop skirt. Okay, that's a good summary, but only what I'll say, this is the main idea. We all have zone of privacy. This is an example. And what you need to learn, you will learn, don't worry. You are not able to separate example from the main idea. Why? Because maybe you have not read a lot. As you read in college, gradually you will learn these things. Thank you so much, Mr. Regmi. Thank you. You can leave. So, okay. Now let's move to paragraph 4 before we end the class. We have 5 minute time. We have 10 minute time actually. Let's read 4th paragraph. See, an essay has introduction, body and conclusion. You can imagine the introduction as a reverse pyramid. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Para 1 says people from different culture may have misunderstanding if they use space differently. Paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 says, paragraph 2 says, how people use space may be difficult to understand. Paragraph 3 says, everyone has a zone of privacy. Paragraph 4 says, from culture to culture, from group to group, even within a single country, even between sexes, the language of space has distinct accents and confusing umlauts. Assignment. Watch the videos, and when you come to class tomorrow, come with the full understanding of the essay. Tomorrow I'll invite you over there and he will explain what is a thesis statement. In tomorrow's class, he will explain what is a thesis statement.
So the last part I did not see, rest of the parts I've seen, only the fifth part is left.
If you find time, watch back again and make a presentation. Tomorrow, I will invite you to the front and you will make a presentation. You will teach rest of the essay from para 4 to 18. You will teach rest of the essay tomorrow from para 4 to 18. Watch my videos. Everything has been neatly explained. And come to class with a clear understanding. Tomorrow, you are going to teach. Who is teaching tomorrow? Students, not Divakar sir. Thank you. Thank you.